Demon never left Harrenhal's visions. This theory argues that Demon's supposed escape from the haunted castle at the end of Season 2 was just another layer of illusion created by Alice Rivers. His visions showed him the White Walkers, the Three-Eyed Raven, and even Daenerys with her dragons. But what if those weren't prophecies? What if they were Alice showing him possible futures to manipulate his choices? The theory says when he bent the knee to Rhaenyra in the finale, that moment felt too clean, too resolved for someone who spent an entire season fighting his demons. Demon's character arc doesn't usually end with simple submission. The theory suggests he's still trapped in Harrenhal, living out what he thinks is reality while Alice controls the narrative. Every choice he makes in Season 3 could be guided by her magic. When he faces Aemond at the God's Eye, maybe that battle happens in his mind while his body rots in Harrenhal. It reframes his entire arc as a tragedy, not redemption. The Maesters are poisoning the Targaryen dynasty from within. This theory claims the Maesters of Oldtown are secretly anti-Targaryen, anti-dragon, and anti-magic, potentially even responsible for poisoning the family's last dragons to strip away their power. The timing is suspicious. After the Dance of Dragons, the Targaryen dragons mysteriously decline and eventually die out completely. The Maesters always preach logic and science over prophecy and magic, positioning themselves as the real power in Westeros. Season 3 introduces Daeron Targaryen, who was raised by these Maesters in Oldtown. What if they've been grooming him as their puppet? The theory points to how the Hightowers, closely connected to the Citadel, manipulate events throughout the war. Otto Hightower's schemes feel too calculated, like he's following a bigger playbook. If the Maesters want to end the age of dragons and magic, starting a civil war that kills dragons and Targaryens serves their purpose perfectly. They're playing the long game, watching houses destroy each other while they consolidate control. Mysaria is secretly working to destroy Rhaenyra from within. This theory suggests Mysaria's true intention is isolating Rhaenyra from her small council and her son, removing protective influences to control the queen's decisions. The White Worm's rise from prostitute to royal advisor happens suspiciously fast. Her advice consistently pushes Rhaenyra toward choices that alienate allies and create chaos. The Red Sowing, where small folk died trying to claim dragons, was her idea. The theory speculates she could turn Rhaenyra against Daemon, contributing to his death at God's Eye, and advise arresting Lord Corlys, which would cost Rhaenyra her naval fleet. Every move isolates the queen further. The kiss between them in Season 2 wasn't romance, it was manipulation, creating intimacy that makes Rhaenyra trust her unconditionally. Mysaria mirrors Varys from Game of Thrones, always whispering in the ruler's ear with unclear motives. If she's an agent of chaos planted by someone else, maybe the Triarchy or even the Hightowers, she's doing a perfect job destroying Team Black without ever drawing a sword. Hugh Hammer's betrayal will be triggered by his wife's death at Tumbleton. The show has hinted at connections between Hugh's wife and the town of Tumbleton, and the theory suggests watching her die during battle could be the catalyst that makes him snap and betray Rhaenyra. In the books, Hugh and Ulf are just opportunistic traitors called the Two Betrayers. But the show made Hugh sympathetic. He watched his daughter die from sickness, powerless to help. He's a good man, given godlike power through Vermithor, one of the largest dragons alive. Watching him lose his wife and completely break would mirror Daenerys burning King's Landing, a tragic villain origin showing how grief and power corrupt. The Battle of Tumbleton becomes personal, not political. If Hugh's wife dies in the chaos, possibly even killed by Rhaenyra's own forces, his turn makes emotional sense. He'd see Rhaenyra as just another noble who sacrificed small folk for her ambitions. His betrayal wouldn't be greed, it would be revenge wrapped in anguish. It's a change that actually improves the source material. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting a lot here. Thanks. Sunfyre is alive and will return to Aegon in Season 3. Despite Larys Strong suggesting Sunfyre died at Rook's Rest, the theory argues this would create massive inconsistencies with the books where Sunfyre plays an enormous role in upcoming events. The Golden Dragon was ripped apart by Meleys, but dragons are resilient. In the books, Sunfyre remains at Rook's Rest with soldiers defending him while he heals, eventually reuniting with Aegon. The show can't write out that reunion without destroying major plot points. Aegon's entire arc in Season 3 depends on finding his dragon again. They're bonded, and their survival story is one of the most compelling parts of the source material. Fans love Sunfyre even if they hate Aegon. The theory says Season 3 will reveal he's been recovering in secret, hidden from Aemond and the court. When Aegon finally escapes King's Landing and finds his dragon, It's the one moment of hope in his tragic story. Their reunion becomes the turning point where Aegon stops being a victim and starts fighting back. Rhaenyra will capture King's Landing but lose everything that matters. The theory suggests Rhaenyra will successfully invade King's Landing early in Season 3, finally claiming the throne she's fought for. But winning the capital will be her downfall. She'll sit on the Iron Throne surrounded by enemies, with her children dead or missing, her dragons dying in battle, and her council fractured by betrayals. The small folk will hate her. The nobles will scheme against her. Every victory will come with devastating cost. The theory points to how Season 2 set up her isolation. Daemon's distrust, Mysaria's manipulation, and the loss of key allies leave her vulnerable. Taking King's Landing won't feel like triumph, it'll feel like stepping into a trap. Alicent's warning in the Season 3 footage that Rhaenyra will do what she has to do suggests moral compromises are coming. She'll burn innocents, execute prisoners, and make choices that transform her into the tyrant her enemies always claimed she was. The throne she wanted will destroy who she is. Aemon's death is staged and he'll return as a vengeful ghost. This theory takes the book's ambiguity about Aemon's fate and runs wild with it. After the battle above the God's Eye against Daemon, Aemondi's body is never found despite both Vhagar and Caraxes being discovered. The show loves supernatural elements. Aemon could survive, horribly burned and broken, living in hiding while everyone thinks he's dead. Or he could actually die, but his consciousness lives on through Vhagar's death, trapped in some magical limbo. The theory gets darker. What if Alys Rivers keeps him alive using blood magic, turning him into something inhuman? Season 3 shows Aemon taking Harrenhal, where he becomes involved with Alys. She sends him to his death at God's Eye, but maybe that's part of a ritual. His hatred and rage could fuel dark magic that brings him back wrong. Not alive, but not fully dead either. Aemond's vengeance becoming literal haunting would be peak House of the Dragon horror. It explains why Harrenhal remains cursed for centuries. Otto Hightower is imprisoned at Honeyholt and will be saved by Darren. After disappearing in Season 2, theory suggests Otto was captured and is being held at the Beesbury Castle of Honeyholt. House Beesbury sided with the Blacks after their lord was murdered in Season 1, giving them motive to imprison Otto. The Battle of the Honeywine is coming, a major conflict in the Reach. Daeron Targaryen could earn his nickname The Daring by rescuing his grandfather on Dragonback during this battle. Season 2's finale showed Tessarion flying south with the Hightower army, confirming Daeron exists. Saving Otto would be his big introduction, showing he's the good Targaryen son, brave and loyal unlike his brothers. It's a heroic moment in a show filled with tragedy. The theory also suggests Otto's imprisonment explains why he's been silent. He can't rally the Reach or advise his family because he's locked away. His rescue could shift the war's balance, bringing the full might of the Hightower forces into play with Otto's strategic mind restored to Team Green. The Battle of the Gullet will see Rhaena save one of Rhaenyra's sons on Sheepstealer. In the books, young princes Aegon and Viserys are intercepted at sea, with Viserys captured and Aegon escaping on his tiny dragon. But the show could change this, having Rhaena rescue one of them on the wild dragon Sheepstealer she discovered at the end of Season 2. The princes are toddlers in the show, with dragons the size of cats too young to fly themselves. Rhaena's arc has been building to this. She's been desperate for a dragon, finally bonding with Sheepstealer in the Vale. Her first act as a dragon rider could be rescuing her stepbrothers during a naval disaster. It gives her agency and makes her crucial to the story instead of sidelined. The Battle of the Gullet is devastating in the books, with House Valyrian's fleet destroyed, explaining why Game of Thrones never mentioned them. Having Rhaenys swoop in during chaos, plucking a prince from the water while dragons and ships burn around her, would be visually stunning. It earns her respect and changes the books in a way that improves character arcs. Alicent and Rhaenyra's relationship will turn romantic in captivity. After Rhaenyra captures King's Landing, theory suggests she and Alicent will be under the same roof, with their romantic feelings hinted at in their Season 2 finale scene where Alicent suggests running away together, potentially explored further. The show has been building subtext between them since Season 1, showing a friendship that became a bitter rivalry but never lost its intimacy. Their secret meetings in Season 2 felt like more than political negotiation. They were two women who shaped each other's lives, bound by tragedy and longing for the connection they once had. Season 3 could make it explicit. With both women stripped of power, trapped in the Red Keep while war rages outside, they'd have nothing left but each other. It would be controversial but also deeply compelling, showing that beneath all the bloodshed and betrayal, their bond survived. The theory suggests they won't escape together, making it tragic. One final moment of honesty before everything falls apart. It reframes the entire war as two people who loved each other destroying everything because they couldn't find another way. The three-eyed raven in Daemon's vision is Brynnen Rivers. This theory connects House of the Dragon directly to Game of Thrones through one character. Brynnen Rivers, also known as Bloodraven, was a Targaryen bastard who became the Three-Eyed Raven. Daemon's visions at Harrenhal included glimpses of the Three-Eyed Raven, White Walkers, and Daenerys Targaryen with her dragons, shown to him by Alys Rivers through a weirwood tree. The theory argues that vision wasn't random. Brynnen Rivers is the Three-Eyed Raven during Bran's time, but he's also a historical figure born decades after the Dance of Dragons. What if the visions were him reaching back through time, using the Weirwood network to ensure events unfold correctly? He'd need the dance to happen, need dragons to nearly go extinct, need the Targaryens weakened, all to set up the timeline that leads to the Long Night and its eventual defeat. Daemon seeing his distant descendant guiding history suggests everything is connected. The theory makes the Dance of Dragons not random tragedy, but cosmic necessity, manipulated by forces trying to save humanity centuries later. It's horrifying and beautiful. Everyone's suffering had purpose. Helaena's prophecy about Aemon's death will come true, but she caused it. Helaena revealed to Aemon that she's foreseen his death, warning him of his fate. But the theory goes further. What if telling him is what causes it? Helena's prophecies work like self-fulfilling loops. She sees the future, shares it, and her sharing makes it happen. By warning Aemon, she plants the idea in his mind, making him paranoid and reckless. His decisions at the God's Eye battle could be influenced by knowing he's doomed, causing him to fight differently, more desperately. The theory suggests Helaena has more power than anyone realizes. She's not just seeing the future, she's shaping it through her words. Her refusal to fight, her cryptic warnings, her acceptance of tragedy, all suggest someone who knows the script and is making sure it plays out correctly. Maybe she's seen that Aemon's death is necessary for something larger. Maybe she's working with forces beyond understanding, using prophecy as a weapon. It makes her the most dangerous player in the game, hiding in plain sight as everyone dismisses her as broken. The Triarchy will play a bigger role, and they're working with the Maesters. This theory expands on the Maester conspiracy. The Battle of the Gullet involves Admiral Sheriko Lohar, who became allies with Tywin Lannister at the end of Season 2, suggesting the Triarchy's involvement in Westeros politics is increasing. But what if they're not just mercenaries? The theory argues the Maesters, who want to end the Age of Dragons and magic, hired the Triarchy to destroy both sides of the war. Their naval power devastates House Velaryon, eliminating one of the greatest dragon-riding families. Their involvement prolongs the conflict, ensuring more dragons and Targaryens die. The Maesters wouldn't get their hands dirty directly, they'd fund others to do it. The Triarchy gets rich, the Maesters get their desired outcome, and Westeros tears itself apart. Season 3 could reveal correspondence between Old Town and the Free Cities showing this conspiracy. It would connect seemingly separate threats into one unified plot, making the Dance of Dragons not a civil war, but an orchestrated extinction event designed to end Targaryen dominance forever. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.